In this video, we're going to be looking at 2 ways that you can improve your paintings by simply avoiding a couple of the pitfalls that beginning painters tend to fall into, especially painting landscape paintings from photographs. Namely, how to welcome the viewer into your painting compositionally without confusing them, and also how not to be limited by the constraints of the photograph itself, including the content and the crop that it has. So let's get started. Hi everyone, my name is Jerry Sumter with The Fine Article. This video is going to talk a little bit about some issues that can come up, namely entering into or inviting a viewer into the painting. And this particular photo here has a couple of pathways in, and it's a lovely scene. I like the photo, and it's not like this couldn't be painted in a particular way that would include both paths, but we'd really have to tamp down one of them and make a decision. Because like in a story, we need to have one character, we need to have one primary plot. We can have subplots, secondary characters, but only one primary. So that's the first thing I would do here, and there can be countless types of changes that can be made. But my goal here is to help beginning painters understand some of the basics. So one of the things that I would do here is simply cropping in and making the decision to not include both of those paths in this particular very classic landscape structure. So, and also, this is not the type of thing in Photoshop that I would do before painting. Normally I would be doing all of these things in oil paint. This was a faster way of demonstrating how a painter might think about making changes to a photograph that would be clear. So now that we have cropped down and we've added a little bit of extension to the proportions so that we have a little bit more of a vertical scene here, that means we can add to the sky shape, which until now is a little bit too kind of amorphous, too small, too uninteresting. So let's expand that out a little bit here. It's a very important point and that would be the second point. The first being one entry path in to a composition. And the second is that we need to have an exit path, and that would be the sky. So, but that's not the only thing here. We do need to be able to feel free to change the shapes of things and the proportions of things. So moving the trees out, opening that sky a little bit, allows us also to balance the tonal values of the ground plane, that the light road, with something on the top of the composition, so a lighter shape up there. And that shape that I'm adding in is a little bit more the shape of the curve of the road itself. So I'm kind of building a little bit of harmony between elements that might otherwise not have that harmony. Now again, there are many ways that we could do this. This is just one. So I'll just build in a little bit more of the sky back into the leaf shapes, and so that we have something a little bit more naturalistic. And so then I'm going to move down here to edit out the attractiveness of moving out the side. See, a viewer might otherwise feel cheated, like, well, wait a minute, where would I go if I went out that right-hand side? So we just want to simplify and not make them feel confused or frustrated that they're missing out on something. Also be aware not to let lines, like right now, it almost seems like that road goes too quickly into that bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to soften that line so that the viewer doesn't feel tempted or feel like it's just too quick of a diagonal there. And that's the majority of what I would change compositionally in this image. So if you enjoyed the content of today's video, please consider giving me a thumbs up down below. And also leave me a comment. Let me know if there are topics or strategies that you would like to see covered in future videos. In particular, since this channel is dedicated to helping people learn strong painting techniques. So until next time, happy painting.